When you live tiny like I do, or just have a small kitchen space, you learn to love collapsible items. And why wouldn't you? When you can fit a strainer, two food storage containers, a pour over coffee filter holder, a bowl, two cups, and a funnel, nearly all in one hand. And I say nearly because I feel like I'm about to drop them. But some collapsible items are definitely better than others. I'm going to share with you today the favorites and least favorites that I have, and a few that I am just planning to just get rid of. So let's start with the big one. Okay, it's not a kitchen item, but it is a very popular collapsible storage solution for tiny living. Or is it? I have not found this collapsible storage hamper helpful. If you had this as a secondary basket, like you already had a different laundry basket and this is only one that you pulled out on laundry day, maybe to do some sorting or folding, this would be really handy. You can stash it away somewhere and pull it out when you need it. But if this is your primary hamper, I don't highly recommend it for two reasons. One is it's rarely, if ever, going to be collapsed like this, because as soon as you get done with laundry, a few days later, you have more. And so then you're popping it up. It's not really a great size for small living because it is so big and it's not very deep. Where in tiny living, a lot of times for things like hampers and other items, you have height, but not a lot of width. And the third reason is it's not that easy to collapse. So it's easy to just punch it out and uncollapse it, maybe. But when you go to collapse it back together, and I'll see if I can do this way, it doesn't quite go. And you have to then kind of tuck these corners in. Like, there we go. No, thank you. That little guy is going. And as you can see, it's pretty much brand new. I barely used it. So what are some of my favorites? Okay, I'm going to wait for my very favorite. Make you wait a little longer to see. But one thing that I have found really helpful has been a funnel. Now, funnels, take up a lot of space at the top, but not at the bottom. They're an odd shape, so they're hard to stack with other things. They're hard to nestle into something else and really utilize that space. So I do recommend a collapsible funnel. Now mine, I think must have been super cheap because it's a really flimsy, see how flexible that is? It's very flimsy. And so it doesn't fold back up very easily, just right. You can, and you might notice my funnel is a little weird looking. It's because I use this to pour things that I get from the bulk section, the nuts and grains and just little things that I might put on top of my salads, into my storage containers, which are the square containers, square-ish glass containers from Starbucks cold drinks. So I'll show you what that looks like. But again, the nice thing is they're tall, they're not very wide, they're like, right? And so you can have several of them, but they take up the height. It works for my space. And in order for the funnel to work for that, I had to cut off the bottom. So anyway, I find the funnel to be great, but I'm going to point you, there'll be links in the comments. I'll point you at a better quality one because again, I try to, collapse this one and the folds fold the wrong way, but I still like it. Next up, here's another cheapie. This was in the dollar section at Target, and it's a collapsible bowl. So I find that it works fine. It's again, I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't quite, like as quickly snap into place, and it doesn't hold its shape as well. Like if you bump things or if you want to stack it in the fridge with something, it's kind of wonky. And there's no lid. But you know, you get what you pay for, and this was $1. So I used it, but guess what? I'm no longer going to utilize this bowl. I have better options that are similar. And round is not an efficient use of space, especially ones that taper in like this, because you're losing all of that. Can you see me through that? You're losing all of this space, you know, here, wasted. And then on the top, of course, you're losing the corners there. So round, no thank you. Flimsy, no thank you. Gone. Okay, I'm throwing things. Sorry. Okay, here's a couple that I really like. You may notice they're not round. These rectangular collapsible storage containers have been great. Now, these are from Norwex. I got them at Tiny Fest. Shout out to the Norwex ladies that come to Tiny Fest and their amazing products. So I'll put a link again to their store in the description below. But two things I love about this, probably 3 or 4, I don't know. Let's find out. One, it is sturdy. The lid snaps on securely. It pops in and out very easily back to its shape. I also like when I can put items in here and put the lid on, and then say I really didn't have all of that, I just had a little bit, or I've used half of it. I can squeeze it. It lets the air out. And so, yeah, I only needed this much space or somewhere in between. So that's really nice to be able to utilize a size in between the small and the big. So you kind of have a small, medium, large in one container. And then, of course, there are a little bit larger containers. My other probably favorite thing about these, or my most common use, is that I will take them and put them in my bag. See how just tiny they are? You can put them in your bag, take them to a restaurant, and this is your to-go container. So you're no longer wasting styrofoam. Some places still have styrofoam, plastic to-go containers, whatever, because you can put liquids in here, you can put solids. The seal is very nice around the edge, and it holds. Things do not spill. So that is another one. The other one, again, very little, you know, taper, so you're not wasting a lot of space, and a very solid bottom, so I can stack these in the refrigerator very easily. Definitely keeping those. That's my keep pile. Can you tell? Okay, so another one that I'm getting rid of. I love my stackable item, but it seems like I'm getting rid of a lot of them today, huh? It's clearing out time. This pour over, collapsible pour over holder. It's not a container. Pour over filter holder. It's fine. It's fine. It's very compact. If you were going camping, this would be great. All you need is this couple of paper filters, and you've got some excellent tasting coffee. Very easy. It does collapse up and down very easily. And I just find that it's just a little flimsy. Like, you know, if you're pouring the coffee and you kind of hit the teapot on the edge, it kind of, you know, falls over a little. It's not a big deal, but we make coffee with pour overs every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. So for something that I'm going to use over and over and over, I will go ahead and use the space that a hard, you know, non-collapsible pour over takes up, because it's worth it to me to have that really great ease of use. And again, I use it all the time. So Sorry, this one's a go. It might be great for you, but it's not so great for me. Okay, we have two things left, sort of. One is my favorite collapsible item, and the other is kind of a set of items or a substitution of items. Okay, which one should we do first? Okay, I'll do my favorite collapsible one, but I gotta go get something. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So these collapsible cups, a van life friend gave me one and years ago, and I loved it. I used it. I wore that sucker out. You can put water in them, and yeah, I've put red wine in there. Now, granted, this is not going to hold up like your water bottle. You know, if you're banging into things, this lid might just pop off, though it's on there pretty secure. But if you are just, heading outside or, just going to sit at a picnic table or you're at an event like that where you're not going to be moving around and running into a ton of things, you can put the lid on this. It does not drip. So they came in a set of two, which is nice because I like the bright color too. Lid, awesome. You can use this as a to-go container, not just water or wine. You can put food in there. Again, you can take it with you to the restaurant and put your leftovers in there. Along that lines, you can put drinks in it. I've used these on an airplane before. They're always giving you those little plastic cups and they just feel so wasteful and they don't hold very much anyway. So I've asked before, can you put the drink in my cup? And usually the answer is yes. So that's pretty nice. And I don't get weird looks. I know people are like, oh, somebody's going to look at me weird. I don't get really weird looks. I get people, that's a cool idea. That's a good idea. This one is really nice to drink out of because of the metal rim. It has a hard rim. You're not, something's not smushing all around you. Has a few extra little pieces around the base to help hold it flat so it doesn't fall over as easily. I would like it probably if it were a little wider, but then maybe it wouldn't feel like a cup. I don't know. And then you can loop on the lid if you want. You don't have to. I loop mine on for one. I'm going to lose it otherwise. And then also, so I can do this. It's like a carrier then, right? Let me see. Can I put it on my wrist? Yeah, there you go. So this little cup is great. And it is so flat. Look how flat that is. It takes up next to no room. Now, to be honest, I don't use it for my everyday drinking, everyday water in the tiny house all day long. But I use this one if you come over to my house as a guest. And, I only have 2 glasses. So, and they're plastic because I live in a bus and it moves and things break. But anyway, if you come over to my place, I only have 2 glasses. And so guests will get one of these, or I'll give them one of the glasses and I will drink out of this. And then it also goes everywhere with me in my bag so that I can use it in different places, like I said, in restaurants, on the go, and minimize waste. The other thing is this is great, as are these, for taking snacks with you. So not only can you get stuff from the restaurant and bring it home, but you can take things with you as a snack and then just collapse them when you're done. So again, this is pretty flat, but look how flat that is. These will come in a set of 2. You can get a set of 8. I mean, a set of 8 is going to be like that big, right? Gotta love it. And they're very sturdy. So these are definite keepers. Probably my favorite collapsible item. Okay, last but not least is an item that, how do I describe this? It's very useful. I would recommend it, but I don't use it, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so this is a great item to have in a collapsible option, because look at the storage. Now they do make them without handles, but again, the cone shape makes it hard to stack, to nestle with something else. The handle makes it even harder. You can hang it up with the handle or get one without. This strainer does, pop in and out pretty easily, and it's pretty flat. The hard surface here is helpful for, got the lip to put it on the pan. So it's pretty useful. However, I've been known to get things that are really cheap sometimes, and this must have been a cheap thing because it gets dirty so easily. I don't even know if you can see that. It just gets dirty, and then it's like in there and in the grooves, and I feel like I really, my food's touching that. So I really need to like scrub it down really well every time I use it, which is not easy. And it just, all the creaks and crevices, which you have, because it's a foldable item, they get grungy. And so that's not because of the type of item, it's not because it's a strainer, it's because of the material. And you can kind of, you kind of get a knack for feeling like what's going to do that. This is really pretty soft and squishy, whereas this little strainer is harder. And again, the little funnel, it's very flimsy. Those are not as good as the items that are a little more stiff. So I would recommend one of these to you. If you get a good quality one, maybe, I don't know, maybe not get the one with the handle unless you have a specific spot to hang it. And they make a lot of options, a lot of colors, as you can probably guess. My kitchen is red. However, I don't use it because I combine that item with this, which, a lot of people know this for a steamer, right? So you might have one of these if you're going to steam your vegetables and your broccoli, and it keeps it off the bottom of the pan. Put the water down here, steam. These are nice because they can, squish together, can't think of the right word, in order to fit whatever size pan that you have. If you have a really big one or a smaller one. And this nice one has a little handle that you can lift it out of the pot with. So that's handy also. And, it's not too big, right? So a couple of items I don't use because I have this pot. So this pot serves three purposes. One, it's a nice big pot for cooking things in, make a big old pot of stew or soup, or you can boil up some potatoes. It has an insert, so I can put that in and steam my vegetables. So that works out really well. So that's two purposes. And the third one is I can just take this and use it as a strainer. I mean, it's not pointed at the bottom, but it still works really well. So that is one item that serves three purposes rather than three items: a pot, a steamer, and a strainer. So I do not know where this one came from. I've had it for years, but I was looking on Amazon, and they make them in a pan size, the pan with the handle, or a pot size. And one of the nice things I see about those that they're making now is that this one actually has a handle on it too, so you can pull it out. Mine has this little, I don't know, hook that you can pull. It's hot. I'm just going to say it's hot, even with the little metal handle, which falls off all the time. So I think having one with little handles on the side would be nice if you're, steaming some cauliflower, and you can pull that out real easily. So combination. Again, collapsible things are great, but if there's something else that's better, there's something else that's better. And that also brings me to one little last item I almost forgot, which is my little teeny strainer. And, I don't really need a little teeny strainer because I have the big strainer, and whatever I strain in here, I can also strain in there. However, I do have a specific use for this. I don't use it that often, so maybe I shouldn't keep it, but Yeah, I will. So I pick blackberries with this. Every fall, we have a ton of blackberries. So I'll take the dogs out every morning during blackberry season and I'll go down, pick a container full of blackberries, come home, wash them up, and put them in jars right away. Um, and they are delicious all year round then. Oh, because I freeze them. Again, pops together real easily. You want to get something that has a little bit of sturdiness to it so that it, one, is sturdy, and two, pops together very easily and not round. So there you have it. A bunch of kitchen collapsible items, well, and the laundry basket bonus item that may be helpful for you for tiny living. Again, I'll have the links for those in the description. So if you know someone that has a tiny space, maybe it's a tiny home, maybe they're living in a van conversion or adventure rig, or maybe they just don't have a lot of kitchen cupboard space, these are great gifts for someone in that situation. Very practical, and it'll make them smile.